Should we speak to our Home and Security Editor, Mark White? Mark, you uncovered this story about how video games and television sets are being given to asylum seekers as they're being processed, I believe. The Prime Minister did address that.
Well, he kind of didn't. He dodged the question, to be honest. But I think, well, the government want us to focus on what they're doing out in Albania and the positive moves they're making there, and especially around the potential for these return hubs. I think many people will understandably be quite incensed to realise that we are spending tens of thousands of pounds, in fact more than £60,000, at just one facility, the Manston Processing Centre in Kent, for migrants who just step off the boat, basically, and there are televisions and video games on tap for them in that facility, a facility that they're only ever expected to be in for 24 to 48 hours, and it will fuel concerns amongst those who believe that we're just a soft touch and that we are incentivising migrants by providing this. I mean, the Freedom of Information request that we've received tells us that £12,000 a year has been spent over the last 3 years on providing 14 televisions with all of the accompanying satellite television packages, video games, 20 of them, video consoles for Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo and alike, at about £15,000. All told, as I say, more than £60,000 for this one facility. Now, the former head of Border Force, Chief Executive Tony Smith, has commented on this. He said it's blatantly obvious that word is out in Calais and beyond that you just need to get across the channel and life of luxury awaits you. Another senior security source I've been speaking to was even more forthright. They're saying, this is crazy. These migrants have gone months living in tents without any access to TV and video games and managed just fine. But we're just rewarding bad behaviour. This is a shocking waste of money, and it's the British public's money, he says. So you can understand why people would be angry at this. Perhaps we've reached out to the Home Office. They will say that, you know, they are providing these facilities for these migrants at Manston as a way, you know, of keeping them entertained, distracted, if you like, so that there's no trouble. But then the counter argument to that would be for people just arriving in this country, if they can't wait 24 or 48 hours in a processing centre without potentially turning violent, what kind of people are we letting into this country?
Well, Mark, surely the problem is that we're not letting them in. They are coming, they're breaking into the country. That's the words that some people have used. But someone somewhere has decided that this is a good idea. And it's a relatively new problem, the small boats problem. There were hardly any crossings before 2018. So who made these decisions in 2018 to put these kind of facilities in the migration centres? I mean, obviously, the government is responsible, but is this the Home Office? Is this border security? Is this refugee charities?
Well, I think the party that you were once an MP for, Miriam, would be the answer to that. This was under the Conservative
Absolutely
government
right,
when
and I'm not denying that, but my
decision was made.
Mark, you're right, and I'm not denying that. That was, you know, I did say that obviously the government is ultimately responsible, but somebody, not the Home Secretary, made the decision to furnish the facilities in this way. So I suppose the question I'm asking is that the Home Office? Is that border control? Are these charities who are invited in to help with this process?
No, this is coming from officialdom. This is Home Office officials who have made a decision, and maybe it's through the private contractor, I think it's Serco down at Manston, running that particular facility, but it will have had to have been cleared, signed off and paid for. And I'm sure the argument that will have been put forward is that, look, you know, we don't want any possibility of a situation of disorder at this facility. The best thing to do is to keep them occupied, give them their video games, give them access to TV channels. But I say again that many people will perhaps quite rightly argue that if those who are just coming to our country can't be patient enough to be processed for 24 to 48 hours without potentially turning violent, it does beg the question of who we're letting in to this particular country. So it's come from officialdom. I suspect that any minister would be completely unaware of the money that's being spent on providing these kind of entertainment facilities for the migrants, and when put to them in terms, they would probably be a bit uncomfortable about that as well. But as I say, these decisions are taken at a local level and an official level back at the Home Office by individuals who perhaps believe that they're doing it for the overall good.
Yeah, and Mark, one of the criticisms of the Rwanda deal was the expense of it. That was one of the criticisms that Labour put across on every possible occasion as a reason not to do it. But these return hubs, the talk of offshore processing in various countries in the Western Balkans, surely we're going to have to pay for every single failed asylum seeker to then go over there or to be processed over there if in fact that happens.
Yeah, there's no doubt at all that this is absolutely going to have a cost attached to it. First in Albania and then wherever other countries they manage to get a deal for return hubs with. Now, what this is not, it's not a Rwanda deal. I wouldn't even describe it as a Rwanda light, because these are individuals who have been effectively processed initially anyway, and their asylum claims turned down. They're deemed to come, we're told, from a safe country, but maybe their documents have been lost, because we know that this is something that the people smugglers tell the migrants to do, is to ditch all of their identified documents, makes it much harder for them to be returned to their country of origin. But while that is going on, what the government wants to do is end the endless wait in this country, where it can go on for years with appeal after appeal being deftly handled by these immigration lawyers. And a real prospect, of course, which happens on many occasions, is these individuals go off, get married, have children, and that's used as a very strong case to argue that they should be allowed to remain in the UK under human rights laws. The government wants to try to end that. It won't necessarily be that many individuals initially that will be in this return hubs, but it will be some. Will it be the kind of incentive that perhaps Rwanda could have been if it had been off the ground and running properly? Almost certainly not.
That's a big question. Mark, thank you very much indeed. I must say a lot of people getting in touch already saying I haven't got an Xbox.